Hey guys, it's Nicci from Nicci's Embroidery, and I thought I'd show you guys something really cute you can make with your embroidery machine. It's a little mug rug, and I'm utilizing paneled fabric, which for a lot of years I kind of avoided because I just really couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do with it. I'm not a huge quilter, and if I do quilt, I tend to want a piece and not just use a printed fabric. But we're going to make a mug rug. It looks like this. If you don't know what a mug rug is, they're very, very cute. This one's a camper one. It's super cute. We've used the pattern fills in our machine to create it, and it's created all in the hoop at the machine. It's very, very simple. But I'm going to tell you the things that you'll need to get started. So it's a lot of fun, but I'm going to mention the things that you guys are going to need. So we've got our cute little mug rug. This one's a teardrop fabric, and this is a Henry Glass fabric. It's Barbara Johnson's fabric, and I love it. It's so cute. And how it looks in yard goods is it looks like this. It's got these great little sections. They're about 5 by 7. You can see all these different campers. They're so cute. It's really cute. So this is a good candidate for this project. You don't necessarily have to have campers only. There's other fabrics that you could use. This is a full panel piece of it. Let's see. You could even use this. This is the border prints. I don't think this works as well as the panel pieces. And here's one that I've got that's got like chickens on it. Same thing, it could be used. You could fussy cut it, but I really prefer the quick and easy of this project, which means the pieces are already pretty set. There's lines on it. So the first thing that you're going to do is kind of look at your fabric and see. You can see that I've kind of cut this one out. I didn't fussy cut it. I just kind of cut around it, and I'm going to be using the pink line as my border. So kind of cute. Very, very simple. So you'll need that. You'll need some type of fabric. It doesn't have to be camper fabric, whichever one you like. You're also going to want some temporary spray adhesive. Any brand will work. This is the one that I like. You can use any brand. You're going to need a point turner tool because you're going to be working in the hoop and turning this item right side out. This is an R&K point turning tool. I love it. You can use any kind. You just want to get one with a rounder tip so you don't poke out your corner. You're going to need some batting. I've got just some plain old batting here, and then also a backing fabric. So you're going to want your panel piece cut, your backing fabric, and your batting. And then the last thing that you're going to want is this really fun stuff. It's called Steam to Seam 2 Light, and it comes in a 1/4 inch width, and I really like it because when we turn our item right side out, we're going to need to press it closed. If you like to whip stitch or hand sew, you can close yours up that way. I don't hand sew. I don't even have any hand sewing needles, so this is what I use to close my in the hoop projects. Alright, what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you step by step how to do this, and we're going to go to the machine screen, and what we're going to do is take a break, and we're going to really zoom in so you can see how to create this at the screen, okay? Okay, I want to walk you through the steps of how an in the hoop project works and how this one in particular works. And I mentioned that you'd need some temporary spray adhesive, and I wanted to mention to you, in your hoop, you're just going to kind of put any cutaway would work. I like a poly mesh stabilizer for this project because it's soft hand and it churns well and it washes well. So these need to be washable. And then on the back of my batting and my fabric, I've just sprayed some temporary spray adhesive, and I've just kind of put it down in the hoop. So you'll notice I don't have any lines originally in the hoop. I'm just stacking that, and that would be the first part of this. The very next section that we'll work with is adding a fill, and I'm going to teach you how to do that at the machine, but I'll show you how that looks. Here is one of the campers, and I'm going to turn it sideways so that you can see, and I've added this great little pattern fill to kind of quilt the actual textiles all together. So this quilts the batting with your little panel piece. It's kind of a great way to do it. We've got a lot of different fills and different options in there. And then the last thing that we'll do is we'll add our other fabric right on top of it, and it will stitch all the way around, but we're going to leave a little opening so that we can cut this out and turn it right side out. So I'm going to walk you through the steps to do that. It's actually a really, really simple technique, and it's all done at the machine. So we're going to go to the screen, and I'm going to show you how to create your own mug rug. Okay, as you can see, I've used the temporary spray adhesive to secure the batting and the actual panel fabric. Now this one's not really secure. I would encourage you to really use a good bit so that it's secured. I'm going to lock and load the frame onto my babylock Destiny, and I'm going to choose IQ Designer. Now I'm going to select the scan feature, which is these 2 flowers up here, and I'm going to choose scan, and the machine is going to take a photograph of what's in the hoop. And that's very handy because that means we can create our mug rug the exact size that we need it to be, regardless of how our panel fabric was cut. Even if it's been rough cut, even if it's got uneven edges. A lot of times printed fabrics on panels aren't printed on grain, or they're not quite perfect. And that's okay because this machine will accept that, and it will create the stitch file wherever we need it to be. That's one of the most powerful features of this machine. I really like it. And it's also kind of fun just to create quick mug rugs. It makes it very simple to create a project in about 10 minutes. Okay, we've got our photograph on screen, and I want to point out a few things. One is the contrast key down here, and you'll note that it can brighten by going to the left, or you can lighten your image by going to the right. And if you go too far to the right, the image disappears. But it's actually there, so just kind of turn it back on. I don't like to create my file when it's too dark. This is an example because I can't see my lines that I create. That's one key. The zoom function up here I like to use, and I like to zoom to about 400% because I have very poor vision. And then I rely on this box for going around the design. And we're actually going to create a line right on this red line. That's going to be our outside edge. And I'm going to go to the line properties box, and I'm going to choose double run and point to point tool. And I'm going to teach you how to use this to create your fill pattern. So we're going to create a box, and the tool is activated. And you'll want to be directly in front of your machine, and you can use a mouse if need be. And then I'm going to use this red box, drag around. And you'll note I'm just touching just outside that red line. And please don't make yourself crazy. This is very easy to do. And this line is not actually ever going to show or be stitched. So please don't undo until you've made yourself completely nuts, because that's just not a good idea. All right, going right along. Click, click, click. You notice that I'm using the red box to get me exactly where I need to be. And now I'm going to come back up the other side, just following that red line. Again, you want to make sure that you'll touch the first point. And I'm going to shut off the background image so you can see that we actually have the box. Okay, there we go. We've got our box. Now you want to be careful not to touch the screen anywhere while this tool is on, because if you make a mark, it will come outside of your stitch area. The very next step after this is to save this to a pocket either on the machine or your thumb drive, because you're going to need it in a minute. Now we're going to want to add the fill stitch, and the fill stitches are located in the Regions Properties box. We have stipple, and then under this button we have a lot more fills, and depending on whether or not your machine is updated, you may have the same amount or less. And you can see that you've got all these different patterns. I can select any one of these. This one's a great one. I think I'm going to go with that one. And then we can leave it on the color red because we can choose our stitching, our thread in any color. And you'll note that you can see the diamond pattern fill, and right diagonal from it is a bucket tool. If you turn on that bucket tool and touch inside the area you created, it fills it with that diamond pattern quilting, and you don't have to draw marks, and you don't have to draw lines and try to sew it and make yourself crazy. The machine's going to actually stitch this. You've commanded the machine to stitch this fill pattern. You can touch next, and you can leave your fill pattern at 100%, or you can decrease or increase the size. You can go up or down. I like to go about to 90 on the mug rugs. And then this is the angle, and you can change the angle maybe at 45 degrees. And then this is the outline stitch. I like to leave it on for these projects. And then I like to touch preview and OK. If everything's gone correctly, pattern extends outside of the embroidery area and cannot be converted. What does that mean when that happens? Well, sometimes that means that we've actually touched the screen somewhere. And what I like to do is go ahead and turn on the eraser to the largest point, and I like to just go right outside this outer edge to check and see if I've actually bumped the screen, because sometimes you accidentally bump the screen and you create a little extra stitching there. The other thing that you can do is go to the settings menu and tell it which frame that you're using. I'm actually using the 9.5 by 9.5 inch frame, so I can there look too and see if I've got an issue. I don't see any extra marks, but I'm going to turn off my background image so I can really look and see. All right, let's check and see if that fixed our problem. Let's go to next, and let's go to preview. It says the IQ designer data will not be saved. Okay to continue. It is okay to continue because we saved our outside box. So we're going to hit OK. And you can see that running the eraser around the edge really helped us. So if that ever happens to you, you can always just go back. But now I need to make a point. Once you touch this set key, we're not going to be able to go back to the IQ designer and use the fill pattern to erase anything. We can use the box because we saved it. So let's touch set, and let's touch OK. Now you'll note when you go to the embroidery screen on this machine, it has the fill first, even though you created the line stitching first, the black outline. Now the reason for that is because quilting should always happen first, because we always quilt from the center out. So you would go ahead and stitch this fill pattern, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. You can see that I had my layers, and I went ahead and stitched my diamond, and you can see how great that looks. So that's wonderful. And once that stitches, you can skip that black stitch. So after you've stitched your fill stitch, just go ahead and touch home. And you're leaving your hoop and frame on the machine. You don't need to take anything off. You're going to go back to the IQ Designer, and you're now going to retrieve that original box that you created. And now you're going to use the pocket with the blue arrow. And I saved mine to the thumb drive, and it's under the B pocket. And you'll probably see more than one. I've created a bunch of different mug rugs, so you can see different ones here and here. And what if you haven't saved it, or this is the one that had that little excess file. You guys can kind of see it's got that little extra right there. So I would definitely, this is the one that I had. Always use the same one that you scanned from. And then if you have to, go and check for the eraser. And I want to really point that out to you guys. Do you guys see that little tiny little stitching right there? I can go ahead and erase it by using the eraser. But if you ever get that, you're going to get an error message. So now I've erased that excess. You probably won't have that on yours. That's because I was working at an angle. And now what I want to do is I want to create an opening in this. It's already a double run stitch. And what I want the machine to do is I want to be able to turn my item right side out. So using the eraser, you can see that the eraser tool's on. Let me show you that again. There's the eraser tool. I like to choose the large one, and just using your stylus, it becomes a cursor. Just touch right there. And you don't want to go all the way to the edge. That would be wrong. You just want to kind of leave yourself a couple inches opening. Then if you would, touch next and preview and choose OK. Now, the next question is, should I just save this and keep using it? Keep in mind, when you put your item in the hoop, it's going to be always at a different angle. They're not always going to be the same. They're not always going to be printed the same. They might be twisted a little bit. So you'll create each of these uniquely. You're going to touch Set and touch OK. You're going to go through to Embroidery. And now, at your hoop, you've got your item like this, and it's ready for this next step. So while it's there, you're going to take your next fabric, and you're going to lay it face down. Okay, just like that. And the machine's going to stitch all the way around, leaving an opening. And it will look like this. So here we've got our item. So the machine's going to stitch right here, all the way around, down, and back over. Then you're going to remove the whole thing from the frame, cut it out, and turn it right side out, making sure you use your point turning tool. And then you're going to end up with this really great mug rug. And then you're going to close it with a fusible or a whip stitch. And you can use any kind of panel, but it's that simple. Keeping in mind that each time you hoop, you will be using your own line that you create. So every time that you hoop an item, it will depend on your hooping. You'll be drawing that line. Very simple, very easy to do. I hope you like seeing that, and we'll go back and we'll have a little discussion about products. Oh, I hope you liked making mug rugs in the hoop, and I can't wait to see what kind of things that you guys create. I want you to kind of understand that this is a simple mug rug, but there's a lot of different things that you could create just using this very simple technique, using the pattern fills, the erase key, and the point-to-point tool. They're very simple. Practice a little bit, and be sure to tag us in a post that says Destiny Diva. We'll be super excited about it, and we're super excited that you're learning your machine, you're learning your equipment. I'm Nicci from Nicci's Embroidery, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day.